Once upon a time, in the heart of the Enchanted Forest, stood a magnificent tree called the Luminara Tree. This tree was no ordinary tree. It shimmered at night, glowing softly like 1,000 stars twinkling together. The fairies who lived there called it home, and at its very center was the most precious jewel in all the forest, the Celestia Stone. This glowing gem was the source of the tree's magic, allowing the fairies to fly, spread their fairy dust, and keep the forest in harmony. Among the fairies of the Luminara Tree was a young fairy named Gayy. Her mother had given her this name because she had the warmest, kindest heart, always full of joy. But unlike the other fairies, Gayy couldn't fly. She tried so hard, but her little wings just weren't meant for flying. While the other fairies soared through the air, dancing on the wind, Gayy remained on the ground, watching longingly. Every fairy in the Luminara Tree had a special gift. Aurora, with her golden wings, could make flowers bloom with a single touch. Tio, the fastest flyer, could carry messages across the forest in the blink of an eye. Even Gayy's younger brother Finn had a talent. He was unusually strong and could lift heavy branches, making him an important helper during storms. But Gayy? She couldn't fly, and she didn't seem to have any magical abilities. Instead, she spent her days exploring the forest floor, where she befriended ants, turtles, squirrels, and even a snow-white bunny called Honey Bunny. Her favorite time of day was sunset, when the wise old owl Oro perched on the lowest branch of the Luminara Tree and told bedtime stories to the young animals. Gayy loved to listen, but more than anything, she enjoyed helping tuck the little ones in for the night. One evening, Mrs. Butterfly rushed up to Gayy, looking worried. "Gayy, dear, could you watch my little one, Poppy, for a while? There's an emergency and I must go," she pleaded. "Of course," Gayy said with a smile, taking Poppy into her arms. Poppy whimpered, "Mama always sings to me before bed." Gayy hesitated. "I can try singing to you if you want." Poppy sniffled and said, "Yes, please." Gayy took a deep breath and softly began to sing. To her surprise, her voice was like a lullaby carried by the wind, sweet and soothing. Poppy snuggled into her arms and quickly fell asleep. As Gayy continued, she noticed other animals around her nodding off as well. By the time she finished, the entire clearing was silent, filled only with the sound of peaceful breathing. The next morning, the animals gathered around her. "Thank you for the best sleep we've ever had," they said. It was then that Gayy realized her talent. She had the gift of song. But not all creatures in the forest were kind. There was a mischievous little imp named Snive who loved to steal anything that glittered. One day, Snive overheard the fairies chatting by the river about the Celestia Stone. His eyes widened with greed. "A shimmering stone? I want it to be mine," Snive cackled. That night, when all the fairies were asleep, Snive snuck into the tree and stole the Celestia Stone. By morning, the tree had begun to wither. The fairies searched high and low, but Snive was long gone. He had escaped to the forest floor, and the winged fairies struggled to track him through the thick branches and thorny bushes. "We must find him soon," the Fairy Queen declared. "Without the stone, our magic will fade." Gayy stepped forward. "I will find him. I know the forest better than anyone." She set off, asking her animal friends if they had seen Snive. No one had, but Honey Bunny thought for a moment and said, "You should ask the old badger, Bristle. If someone knows, it would be him." Determined, Gayy found Bristle, who grumbled, "I might know something, but I won't talk for free. Sing me a song. It's been years since I've had a good sleep." That explained it. Bristle was always grumpy because he had trouble sleeping. Gayy smiled and began to sing a soft melody. Before she even finished, Bristle let out a loud snore. But just before he dozed off, he mumbled, "That imp sings about his hideout in the middle of the night. Listen to his song and you'll know where he lives." Gayy remembered Sniv's playful nature. He often danced and sang about his tricks. If she could hear his song, she might find him. She waited patiently for midnight to come. Finally, she heard a familiar cackling voice. "Through the brambles, past the tree where the twisted roots will be, hidden deep where fairies fear, that's where I keep my treasure near." Gayy followed the clues to an old hollow tree covered in vines. Peeking inside, she saw the Celestia Stone. But just as she reached for it, she heard Snive arriving, singing another silly song. She quickly hid and waited. Snive danced around, eventually curling up, clutching the stone. Every time Gay moved closer, he stirred. She had to wait and wait. When she finally heard soft snores, she took a deep breath and began to sing. With one last snicker, Snive drifted into a deep sleep. Gay tiptoed inside, carefully took the Celestia stone from his grasp, and hurried back to the Luminara tree. The moment she placed the stone back in its rightful spot, the tree glowed again, and the fairies cheered. "Gay, you saved us," the fairy queen said. "You may not have wings, but you have a beautiful gift, that's for sure." Gay beamed with joy. She had finally found her place. From that day on, she became the official lullaby fairy, singing every night to help fairies and animals alike drift into peaceful dreams. And so, the forest remained bright, the Luminara tree stood tall, and Gay had learned a valuable lesson. Everyone has a gift. Sometimes, it just takes time to discover it. Every night, as the stars twinkled above, Gay's sweet voice would fill the forest, wrapping every creature in a blanket of warmth and comfort. Little eyes are getting sleepy. Little yawns begin to creep. Sun has gone to sleep up high. Stars are twinkling in the sky. Sleep now, sleep, sleep now, little one. Close your eyes and snuggle tight. Sleep now, drift away, till the start of a brand new day. Fluffy clouds are drifting by. Little birds have said goodbye. Moon is shining soft and bright. I'll hold you throughout the night.